So the one thing that Pokemon collectors and investors need to understand, which I sometimes feel not enough people talk about, and I really want to touch over that in this video, it's the what if or the if then scenario when it comes to collecting. Like, I know a lot of us love building to our collections and we love adding to these collections, but there comes a point as well that taking a break or knowing when to just pause on some of your collection goals is really important, guys, because I think one of the problems in the collecting scene and in the investing scene is that when you're consuming a lot of this content or you're watching a lot of people on YouTube, or whether your friends are collecting and you're in that space and you go into hobby stores and you're doing those kind of things, you are always kind of comparing yourself to others. In some places, you might have the biggest collection. In other places, your collection might be like looking like it's lagging behind, or it's not really like, oh, that person on YouTube's got a PSA 10 of this card. I've only got it in a raw copy, or I've only got the version below that card. That person's got the version above. You know, guys, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I've made this mistake, and I don't want other people to be falling into this trap, because it can be quite insidious how it happens, and it can just stockpile, and it can, cost you a lot of money if you're just chasing, looking at other YouTubers, looking at other people, and you're just trying to always get the next best thing. Because guys, when collecting Pokemon, and especially with how frequent Pokemon is with their release schedules, guys, it's no different to chasing the horizon. The closer you get, the more the horizon will get there. I mean, there is so many products, there is so many sets, there is so many chase cards that you will never really get to the end goal. And even if you did collect everything, you're going to have to keep on top of that, and it will just become a thing that you can't uphold. And there's actually something really interesting of Ken Honda. He is a very big personal development coach in Japan, and he's very, very well known, and he's very known. So his famous book is Money EQ, which talks about how people view money. So, there's Money IQ, which is your saving in stocks, investing in real estate, having your 3 to 6 month emergency fund, all that. So that's your Money IQ, right? That's your how you behave with your money. Then there's the part of Money EQ, and Ken Honda really talks about this, is how the emotional aspect of money and how we view money. And one of his biggest findings, and I think it's really, really related to this topic of adding to your collections, is he interviewed 12,000 millionaires in Japan. And it was a really fascinating study. So he interviewed a millionaire in Japan, and he asked the millionaire, he said, "Do you think you're wealthy?" And the millionaire responded, "No, because I do not own a yacht." So then he went to a millionaire who owned a yacht and asked the millionaire with a yacht, "Do you feel wealthy?" And the millionaire said, "No, I do not feel wealthy because I do not have a private jet." So then Ken Honda said, okay, so the person with the private jet must feel wealthy. So he went to the person with a private jet and said, "Do you feel wealthy?" And the person with the private jet said, "No, I don't feel wealthy because my friend has a private jet with 6 seats in it, and my private jet can only fit me and the pilot. So I don't think I'm that wealthy." And the story goes on and on. So these people that most of us would consider millionaires incredibly wealthy, they did not consider themselves wealthy because they were comparing themselves to someone who is more wealthy. And guys, it's the same with collecting, right? You can collect these nice PSA 10 slabs. You can get every single Sword and Shield all art, right? Which would be a huge collection goal. You could get every single one. And then what can happen? It can just it is insidious. You could be like, you know what? I want to now collect Sun and Moon. I want to now get every single Sun and Moon tag team set. And then from there, you might start collecting that goal. And then it might stockpile. Oh, you know what? I need the booster boxes now. Oh, you know what? I now need the promo cards now. I need this, I need to now get BGS versions of these cards. It can get really out of hand. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I've experienced this firsthand. I know what it's like. I bought Gengar VMAX and I said, geez, this Gengar is awesome, but you know what? How can I have Gengar VMAX without getting the other old art, which is Giratina V? So I went and bought Giratina V, and then I said, you know what though? I need Lost Origin. So I bought a Lost Origin booster box, and then I'm like, you know what? Lost Origin's great, but I probably should have 2 of each booster box, because what if I want to sell one later and just keep one in my personal collection? On and it just never stopped. This is a part of something known as if-then goals, right? This is known as your if-then goals, and it's a very bad trap to fall into, because, even with my YouTube, like I was like, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, at least I'll be monetized. Then I'll be happy. But you know what? Like now I'm like, oh, okay, now how can I grow to 5,000 subscribers? How can I get my channel to 10,000? And I really work on myself to just be happy with the now. Like, you know, the fact that I'm sharing this content with an audience, the fact that I've even got an audience right now where I can share my hobbies, I should be incredibly grateful and I should work on that every day. I should tell myself how awesome. I don't need to go to 5,000. I don't need to go to 10,000. I don't need to actually grow this channel any more than it is. I should actually be really content with what I've achieved. But this is one of the this is part of the human experience. This is it can be problematic when you get there. So, I do a lot of work on myself. Even with my collections, man, I calm myself down a lot because I can keep going. My personality is like that. I can just keep going. Like I can get the PSA 10 of this card, and then I want to get the PSA 10 of that card, and then I want those to match, and I want to do it, and I just need to calm down. And the reason I'm sharing this information with you is I know a lot of you would be in the same boat. I know a lot of you would want to add to your collections and just keep building them and have this incredible collection. And it's just a matter of knowing when to just take a pause, take a breathe, and you can always, there's always going to be more to collect. And that's why a big thing for me is don't chase older sets that have grown. I'm really big on that. Like if you've missed out on Evolving Skies, right? Which a lot of people have now, the boat's gone. I would not just go and buy that. I'll just focus on what there is today because, something like Paldea Evolved could also grow, Look at the Magic Carp, look how that's going. These sets can grow. Crown Zenith can grow. 151 can grow, these can grow. So don't get in the trap, now I'm gonna go chase older sets. I'm gonna build these collections, I'm gonna do this, do that. It can get really, really bad, really, really quick. And you gotta look after, you gotta have that, you gotta know how to pace yourself. And it's not even that, I'm right now, I'm looking at every single Pokemon product that's been released, and I want to just show you this, check this out. I'm on Cerebi right now, and I'm just looking at all the sets that have released, and just look at this. So right now, on Twilight Masquerade, then we go down to Temporal Forces, Paldean Fates. This is only this year, so we're on January 26th, and look at last year, look at this. You had Paradox Rift, 151, Obsidian Flames, Paldea Evolved and Scarlet and Violet and Crown Zenith all in the 1 year. Guys, getting a master set of one of those would cost you around 2,000 Australian dollars. So do your conversion, I'll put the conversion down here. Imagine how much it would cost if you tried to master set all of these. It is financially irresponsible to do something like that. So do not focus on just trying to, know when to pause, know when to take that break, know when to say, you know what, my collection's great right now. I'm going to reevaluate my collection in 6 months. It's important information. I don't think a lot of people are talking about this. I don't think people are being transparent. They're just trying to show you off their collections, But guys, man, I've been in dark places with this. I know what it can get like. So I don't want, especially people that are consuming my content, I don't want you to just think, oh, Phil's talking about this and I'm saying that this card's great. At the same time, man, if you can't buy that, or if you're just trying to do it to keep up with the Joneses, take a pause, man. There's no shame in not having every card. There's no shame in not grabbing them. Set collection goals, achieve them, and be happy. Look back. There is a really cool thing known as the reverse gap. So what do we all do? And it's a very common thing we do. We look in the future, right? So we have a thing where I'm going to be happy when. Right? So we've got goals in life and we go, I'm going to be happy when I achieve that, when I get this, when I get the promotion, when I get the raise, when I get the home, when I get the car. What we really should do is look at the reverse gap. And this is a really good thing in psychology, what they talk about, and it's actually more profound. The reverse gap is when we look at things that we've achieved in the past 5 years and we look at that and we write these things down and just view what we've achieved. Maybe you've got a raise, maybe you got a promotion, maybe you finished your university degree, maybe you bought a car. Things that helped you and things that are real positive things that you've done in your life, bring that into the now and focus on that, and then just look at your future goals, but don't be tied to them for your happiness. Rather, look at what you've achieved, be super grateful for what you've achieved, really feel that, really feel what you've actually achieved in your life, and then your future goals, your happiness isn't tied to that. And that's really important. It's a really good thing in personal development, and especially with a lot of people that are, if you do set goals for yourself and you are that kind of person, it's very important that when you're looking at the future, you don't want to be tied to that goal. You want to just be performing how you can perform today, and whatever happens in the future, your happiness is not tied to that. It's very important to know that. Same with your Pokemon collection goals. It's not just about, I'm going to get this PSA 10 of each, my collection is going to be great then. My collection is going to be awesome when I get every single PSA 10 special illustration rare. No, your collection is great as it is. Think of that. Calm it down. Do not overspend. Really be careful when you're consuming content, right? It looks like we're all got all these collections. It looks like our collections are all great. Yeah, calm it down. You don't need to keep up. You take it how you go. You work with what you've got. Every single person's situation is different. You know, comparing your collection to others can be quite dangerous. Like in my perspective, right? I've got a business to run, right? So a lot of my finances have to go into maintaining that business and keeping that business. You know, I've got responsibilities with my daughter. I need to make sure that everything's in line with her and everything's working out for her. I've got my partner. I've got a relationship to uphold with her. I've got my fitness goals that I want to go. You know, I've got to make sure that I'm buying the right foods for myself, the right supplements. These things all take precedence over my Pokemon collection. So if I'm comparing myself to maybe someone that's, you know, in a fortunate position to be living at home, they've got a full-time job and they've got more dispensable income to spend on things like collectibles, it's very hard for me to compare my collection with theirs. And same thing with you. You know, you might, you know, maybe you're working part-time, maybe you're just, you know, working casual. It's hard to be comparing yourself with other content creators or other people that you know when everyone's individual circumstances are different. So just make sure that your collection goals are just individual to you, not about what others around you are comparing. That's why a lot of people say, Phil, I want to see your collection. Big reason why I don't like showing my collection is because, yes, I've got a lot of good cards, right? I know I've got a lot of PSA 10 cards, but I'm a little bit worried sometimes when I show these things that other people might be comparing them. Then at the same time, I can get maybe insecure about my collection and say, oh, you know what? You know, I got this PSA 10 Umbreon, I got this PSA 10, this Blaziken, whatever it is. And then someone might say, geez, I've got every alt art. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm the one talking about it on YouTube. Am I comparing myself to someone else right now? Then I can go falling into that trap as well. So I don't want to, I'm very careful with that, guys, because I've been in debt before. I've had to claw my way out of debt. And I don't want to be, you know, facilitating that kind of stuff on my channel. I don't want to be just saying, yeah, buy. No, I really don't want to do that. That's not something that I didn't build this channel. And that wasn't the purpose of this channel, to make people feel inferior with what they collect. I want to make sure that this is a great environment where people can buy what they love, and then people can also sell and enjoy their collections. I think the heart of Pokemon collecting and investing, you know, is that you enjoy and you love what you buy. And I want to make sure that this channel facilitates the love for collecting. That's what I'm really, you know, passionate about. I've spoken a lot about, if you watch my channel, you know the book, The Psychology of Money. I really rate that book. And I really rate it. And he is a very good investor, but he always says the biggest thing he does, he knows he's missed out on huge investment opportunities, but because he cares more about having savings in the bank. So that is his way of working with it. Morgan talks about that in his book. He loves to have savings. Him and his wife have agreed that savings is their most important. And he openly admits that he's missed out on a lot of investment opportunities, but that is where he likes, is that stability. So that's what he likes to do. You might be the same. I'm not sure, but you know, it's a really great book. And anyone that's passionate about finance or investing or anything, really read that book. But you know, guys, it's big that if you're gonna spend money on Pokemon products, right, you at least wanna be spending your money in the right places. And what I mean that there's good areas to spend Pokemon investments and there's bad areas to spend your money. And it's very important that if you're gonna be doing this, and if you're gonna actually be putting your money down, at least you want to be putting your money in the right places. Because, you know, a lot of people on the channel always ask me, hey Phil, what's the best investment? But no one ever asks me, what's the worst investment? And if you want to know what the 4 worst investments are, I answer that question in this video right here, where I cover the 4 worst money drains when it comes to Pokemon investing and collecting. I cover the mistakes I've made over the years and go through products and cards that should be avoided. If you're gonna spend money, you wanna make sure it's going to the right places. Click that video, guys, and I'll see you there.